Okay, so they finally got the new E-classes. This is the E300, and as you can see, exactly like the much larger S-Class. And basically, this is going to be the volume seller, because the simple fact of the matter is the S-Class is $100,000 and the E-Class starts at $55,000. Now basically, it's very difficult to really tell that this isn't a C-Class, because the C-Class is so close in size. I mean, if you know what you're looking for, you can tell that this has more headroom. But for the most part, it's difficult to tell that this is not a C-Class. You know right away it's not an S-Class because of the shape of the lights, but it's kind of difficult to tell the difference between this and a C-Class. So basically, it's their same sausage, different length strategy at work. So this is a blue one. This one's on the showroom floor. Unfortunately, they only have 300, so, you know, I can't see anything better. So let's see right now. This is $54,650 retail price. And with the equipment that they added, it came to $66,435. Now, $66,000 is going to give you either a lease payment of about $899 a month. That's depending upon how much you put down. Most likely, you know, $3,000, $3,500, something like that. But with all this equipment, that's what you get. And these cars obviously come pretty well equipped. What I want to concentrate on right now is what the space in the back of the car is like and what the space in the front of the car is like. So as you can see, it looks exactly like an S-Class. Okay, let me put the, what is it called? Let me put the seat forward so I can sit in the back. You see? You know, and after, oh look, and it has the automatic headrest thing. I love that. It's like, why doesn't Cadillac have that? Okay, so obviously, if I was sitting in the car the way I'd normally sit in the car, I'd never be able to get into it or out of the car comfortably. Alright, so let's check and see the headroom first. I gotta slide in this a little bit. Okay, they have that Mercedes-Benz textile. Okay, alright, so headroom is actually pretty good. I'm able to sit straight up. As you can see my head. And they got this glass roof, so that kind of helps, as you can see. Headroom's pretty good if I was sitting in here. The only problem is, you know, leg space, knee room. For me, if I wanted to sit in the back of a vehicle and be driven, I would have to have the S-Class for myself, simply because whether it's the W221 or the W222, the leg room in the back of these vehicles, as if you have an S-Class, is just as good as the leg room in the front. And as you can see, it's pretty much exactly the same interior, or at least the same design that you would have gotten out of the S-Class, except for on the left side right here, these gauges are analog, where in the S-Class, the gauges are digital. And, you know, for some people, either one's okay. And yet you got this mood lighting. And the lights are so strong. It's like, Cadillac has it too, but it's easy to not notice the mood lighting. It's easy to not notice it. The lighting LEDs that they have in here are so bright. And it's just, you know, and I hate that, because there's so many people, they got to criticize it. Like, oh yeah, well you should behave. It's like, if you're gonna do something, do it right, you know? Just do it right the first time and nobody can complain. So this is the back seat of the E300. It's a nice place to be, especially if you're, you know, a small person. You know, if you're like shorter than 6 feet tall, you'll sit back here and you will be lounging. And these seats feel pretty good. Let's see this thing. Okay, all right, I got these cup holders. Cup holders right there to hold your cup. Okay. I guess this is for CDs or something, but then again, nobody uses CDs anymore. Okay, these things don't go back by themselves, so you gotta push them down. Okay, you gotta push them down, and that button unleashes them. So you put this button, and it pops out or something. Oh, okay, you gotta touch it. Okay. Yeah, it's just like the engineering that they put in these damn things it's incredible. It's ridiculous. You know, and it's funny because in these new cars, it's like most people would look at this and say, wow, this is just incredible. I have noticed that the flatness and the flushness of the, you know, the wood trim and the panels, because everybody keeps copying Mercedes, it's like the entire industry, it all looks alike, it all looks a little bit generic, even though it's not. But Mercedes really killed it with this W222 design strategy. Let's go sit in front. I'm gonna try to get out of here. This thing is low. Okay. These are nice buttons. Cadillac. Why can't they have pillows on their headrests? Even Lincoln decided that they were going to put like pillow cushions on the front of their headrest in addition to the headrest. And I think that's pretty cool. So when the Lincoln Continental comes out, I definitely got to see that. Okay. Let's see how far back this thing goes. I went and checked this car out when we had the New York International Auto Show. Alright, where's the power thing? Okay, so let's see how comfortable this bad boy is. And this is going to be their volume seller. Mercedes E-Class is the #1 selling luxury sedan in America. Now, Lexus RX, from the last time I checked with Forbes, was the #1 selling crossover. But that may change now that Mercedes has that GLC. The only problem is so many of these foreigners, they buy the Toyota because it's so much easier to get the Toyota and Lexus financing. Because you got to remember, those two companies are connected to banks. So there's Toyota Financial, and Toyota Financial will give you Lexus loans a lot easier than some other companies will give you a finance. You know, and I realized that when I had to buy cars for my Uber. Like, I don't have any problem getting the financing. It's just that I've noticed that some banks are a lot easier to deal with than others. So here we go. The dynamic drive settings for the sport mode, comfort mode, etc. And then you have this parking camera on and off. This is the, what is it called? The auto starter. And basically what that's for is that the engine will shut off and it'll shut back on if you're sitting in traffic, so as to save fuel. This is the parking sensor. It's the up and down shade. The power button for probably the radio. And when you push that, Mercedes-Benz comes up. There you go. It's in like demo mode. It says, do not let command distract you from the traffic situation. Don't chase Pokemon while you're supposed to be driving the E-Class. So this is a really nice map. Look how wide that damn thing is. Look at that. Look how wide that display is. I don't understand why a lot of these luxury companies don't get it. Wide display map screens. Now, if you look at how my hand movements affect it, I may have to turn this sideways. That's the one thing about, okay, if you look at how my finger affects it, you've probably already seen the touchpad in a Mercedes, but basically you can go push destination, you just tap it, and the finger has a button when you touch this touch sensor and you slide your finger around. Me personally, I would have rather there be a touchscreen up here because it's so much easier when you're driving to simply see exactly what you want, reach for it, and touch it. But apparently they didn't see it that way. And the arrogance where they don't give you a touchscreen, to me, is annoying. But that's just how it is. So basically, you just touch, like right here, you just touch, city or zip. Because my problem is these touch panels that are like this, it's not as simple. Like, watch this. I want to put a destination. Watch this. Okay, so you got to touch it, continue route guidance, enter destination. Now you can see how my finger movements affect it, right? So now they're saying you can finger write. So let's say if I want to, you see the problem is if you try to stick your finger there so that you can write on it, what ends up happening is that you accidentally might click it. And if you click it, let's see, city or zip. Now keep in mind, if I was using Uconnect from like the Jeep, I'd have entered in 10 addresses in the amount of time that it's taking just to slide my finger. See what? Look at that. That's the finger recognition button. You see that? That's finger recognition. So if I want to draw something, it's not, believe me, this thing is not intuitive. It's just not. So let's try that again. Let's try to use the letters. Let's try to use letters. So if I want to get letters, you really have to go down here to the scroll, because the scroll wheel, this is the scroll wheel. You got to go down here to the scroll wheel, because if you want to enter things, what you got to do is you want to type it. Like let's say if I type E, and you got to scroll and you got to push it. So E M. Now, could you imagine doing this shit while you're driving? Now, meanwhile, my touchscreen in the SRT products, the Uconnect system, I could easily have touched an entire address in like 10 seconds. It would have been so quick your head would have spun. If Mercedes wants to keep the command system, I've got no problem with that, but they need a touchscreen. For them not to have a touchscreen is just arrogance. So Empire Avenue, Empire State Building, that's the one I wanted. You hit that, boom, select destination. I want to use that Empire State Building, and now it's guiding in. Empire State Building, start route guidance. So you just touch it one more time, start route guidance.
The route is being calculated. The route includes toll roads.
Yeah, you see? Okay. So let's say I want to cancel that. Let's say you want to cancel it. What you got to do now, there's a back button right here. And Cadillac, I feel so bad for them. With the CT6, what they tried to do is they tried to copy some design elements of this, and they came up woefully short. But if you want to go back, you push back, and the back button allows you to basically go back. If you want to have it take you back to the home screen, you just push the home button. Home button. Road, not map. So if I push home again, it takes me back to that. Okay, forget that one. Let's say if I want to look at the vehicle settings. Vehicle settings. So what we got climate control, we got the seats, climate control, dynamic selections for the sport mode and for the handling modes. Do you need assistance from the computer? Do you need the assistance? Let's see what the assistance asks for. Electronic slip protection, camera and parking. You see, the one thing I have to credit Mercedes with, I've always liked this command system since my W221 S-Class, because when you're dealing with analog functions, this is really, really good for analog functions when you want to set certain things that you're not going to be setting regularly. But when you get to shit like entering addresses and phone numbers, you want to be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you just want to be able to type things, you know? The way I feel about it is not giving us a touchscreen. To me, it's arrogance. And you know, I hope that they'll wake up and they'll say, hey, okay, we can have the command system, but let's also give them a touchscreen to, you know, give people system redundancy. So let's go back. System. See, this car is really, really, really luxurious, and this is the perfect kind of car for Manhattan drivers, and that's the reason why this car sells so well as a volume seller. The S-Class has been also doing very, very well in sales because the S-Class is a no-compromise luxury saloon. No compromise. So the CT6, I was disappointed. This car has more headroom in the back than the CT6 does. As long as the CT6 is, they made the headroom too small. It's just not high enough. It's like, listen, if you know you're making a car this long for all that leg space, obviously the leg space is because the people who are getting into the car are tall. If the people who are getting into the car are tall, doesn't it make sense that you need more headroom? But maybe these are things that only people who are actually tall like me think of, because, you know, I'm almost 2 meters tall. So, oh, and look at this. This has the perfume dispenser in the glove compartment. See, this is the glove compartment. Perfume dispensers right there. You can get yourself a perfume bottle that Mercedes sells. Tell Mercedes that I said this. You have to promise not to say I said this. What you can do is you can put marijuana in the perfume bottle, and you can put that in there, and then this car will pump marijuana fumes through the car. I call it, I'm going to patent this idea. I call it central weed. You know, like central air conditioning? I call it central weed.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for him to finish up.
But that's basically what you're dealing with. So we've got a right seat control. That's another thing that they got from the W221S class. I always liked it. When you push this button and it turns red, it gives you the ability to choose what to do to the passenger seat. I always thought that was so ridiculously cool. That was absolutely ridiculously cool. So I can control your seat from right here. That's deep. This is the heated seat button, which is odd because this has a heated button. It doesn't have ventilated cooled seats, which is odd to me. And even if it did, they would need an extra space for the heated cooled seat button. So this is heat, right control. And then you have 3 driver's options. Look at that. Normally you only have like 1 driver's option. So I can set, yeah, this is so wonderful. And then you got the headrest control. So like, look at this. This is what I keep complaining that Cadillac doesn't have. Look at that. Look at that. Look at it. It goes up. It goes down. Look at that. That is so cool. When you're in a luxury car, you shouldn't have to like struggle for anything. Being in luxury means that you don't have to do much work at all. Like, I should just be able to sit back and be lazy and laze all over the place. That's what a luxury car is supposed to be about. You know, it's supposed to do everything basically for you, or it's supposed to make everything at fingertip reach so that you don't even have to like try to reach anything. And these are obviously the air control. This is definitely, this right here is the car you want if you can't afford an S-Class and you've got enough first. Because you got to understand, the payment difference, even with leasing, the payment differences on these cars is ridiculous. This car right here you can get for $799 a month. Probably a little bit less than that if they have a sale. But the S-Class, you're talking about another $799. So you're talking about a difference of like $1699 to $799. And that's one of the reasons why the E-Class sells so well. And this is a comfortable car even for a 2 meter tall dude like me. You know, this is actually a very comfortable car to drive. Now, the S-Class is obviously more comfortable, but, you know, that's just twice the price. And then they have this new steering wheel, which obviously the S-Class and the C-Class should probably get. And it has these BlackBerry-style touch sensors. And these touch sensors, you can slide your finger there, you know. And once the car is activated, right here you have the back button for going back. You have the mute button, volume up and down. You have the phone hang up and the phone pick up right here. This is a sliding switch. Or, you know.
Make a U-turn if possible.
No, I ain't making no U-turn. You shut up. Okay. So anyway, voice right here.
Please repeat.
Cancel.
Cancel.
Okay. So, home button back. Yeah, so basically, as you can see, this car is an absolute cool city cruiser. This is the kind of car you want to cruise the city, you know? It's not too long. I have to say, this E-Class right here, I hate to say it, but this E-Class is probably the best. This is probably the best, you know, full-size sedan that you can probably get on the market. Nothing's better than this. The Maserati Ghibli doesn't come close to this. The BMW it doesn't even matter. The BMW 5, BMW 3, the BMW 5 is the one you'd compare this to. It doesn't come close to it. The CTS doesn't come close to this. Now, on paper, one might be more powerful than the next for equal amounts of money, because at the price that this thing is selling for, you could get an ATS-V and you could have like a little rocket. But the problem ultimately is, it's like this car is like a daily driver that's non-super performance like the ATS-V. And this is the kind of car that you could literally have
Make
for
a
8.
U-turn
Shut
if
up.
possible.
Okay, let me see if I turn your ass off. Let's see it turn your ass on. Push navigation. We'll turn your ass. Oh, you keep talking to me. Anyway, how do you turn this thing off? See, I'm trying to figure out how the hell. Let me see. So that's navigation. This is a really nice map. Okay, they're looking at the S-Class right there. Okay, so this is navigation, but I don't understand how to go back. See, if I was in my SRT, all I'd have to do is touch 2 buttons. Route guidance would be canceled like right away. And that's what gets me. You know? Let me see what happens if you push power. Push power and the thing goes off. Good for you. Okay. We have somebody else interested. I'll let him get it. Okay. Alright, so that dude's looking at the E-Class. And this car is going to sell like a lot. Let me see, where's the S-Class for comparison? Here's an S-Class right here. Compare S-Class to E-Class, but I've done this before. So. Okay, basically it's a whole lot more in size and space. You know, it's a nice brown interior here. But where this car kills, everything else is in the interior space. This car murders other cars. Just the sheer amount of interior space, it's ridiculous. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. This thing is ridiculous. Got mirrors for the women in the back so that they could check their makeup. Look at this. Look how much freaking space this thing has. But then again, everybody pretty much already knows about this car, because the thing about it is this car's been on the market for close to 2 years, if not longer. So the thing about it is you can get these things less than $60,000 used. Now, if you lease it, you're paying a lot of money for a lease. Like, you're paying $1,600 for the typical lease on one of these cars. Some people don't give a damn, because the thing about it is if you do what I do and you use business leasing to buy them, you know, it comes out of your business, and it's you get a little bit of a discount with the actual lease. And granted, you're only limited to $15,000. I'm sorry, you're limited to 15,000 miles per year drive. But this freaking thing's these cars are always incredible. And I wish that when we got the one that we got, I wish we had gotten this peanut butter chocolatey mocha interior. I don't even know what the name of this color is, but Jesus Christ, this is so, look at this, it's like chocolate. It's like absolute chocolate in here. Look at it, it's so chocolatey. It's a white car with chocolate inside it. It's kind of like Heidi Klum. It's a white car with chocolate all up inside it. Look at all this chocolate. Look at that chocolate. Jesus Christ, look at that chocolate. Look at all that chocolate. I'm going to call this car the Heidi Klum of Mercedes-Benz right here. Heidi Klum's German, right? So, wow. Chocolatey, chocolatey, chocolatey. I wish I could have gotten this color, because the regular black is not that exciting. But the thing about it is, you know, we use it for Uber, so look at that. Okay, so you got the cooled seats, heated seats, where you can cool your ass. You can heat your ass. You can push that right button. I think the battery might be low on this one. Then you got the same technology right here. You know, so it's like the on button, volume, and everything from the E-Class. It's just that this is all chromed out. It looks so much nicer. This right here is, there's nothing on the market better than an S-Class. Bentleys don't even come close. Like, you pay for the name, but this damn thing's $116,560. It's like it wasn't even enough to stop with 116. They had to put the 560 on there too. Starts at $98,000. And this is the Designo diamond white metallic with the nut brown, nutting on you. Look at all that brown nut brown black Napa leather and burl walnut trim. Look at that. This is Heidi Klum right here. This is the Heidi Klum car with the seal interior. Jesus Christ, look at this thing. And this button, see, and this is one thing I hate about German cars. It's like you got these two blank, or wait, that's three blanks. 1, 2, 3, 3 blank buttons. And like, unless you get these damn things fully loaded, you never know what you missed out on. The problem is, you know you missed out on something because the blanks are there. That to me is, that's an annoyance. And that's, my gosh. This might be a used one if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, maybe wait, what is this? This might be a 2000, that's 2016, okay. Jesus Christ. Designo. Oh my God. See, I feel bad for those people who are like, oh yeah, well, the CT6 isn't supposed to compete with the S-Class. They're gonna make a CT8. Hey, idiots, no they're not. No, they're not. The CT6 was made to try to compete with the S-Class for limo companies. And as nice as it is, and as much technology as it has that the S550 had like 7 years ago, it's just, it doesn't even, it can't touch this car. This is ridiculous right here. This is absolutely ridiculous. The Heidi Klum. Yep. Oh, what they got here? This is a GLA. Oh, wait a minute. Did they redesign these son of a bitch? I think they... Oh, maybe they did. Oh, this is the old E350. It's the old E350 right there. The old E350, I never really liked it. The interior, to me, it was too blocky. And then they had that horrible... This is the old E350 right here. It had that horrible W220 interior design. I never liked this car. I was very disappointed that they upgraded the S-Class and they never upgraded this class until now. And now you have the E-Class that looks nice. So this was the E. That looks good. What's this one? This is a C63. Let's see how many other E-Classes they got. That's the C-Class right there. This is C300, yeah. Okay, so it's the CLA C300s. This is an E400, but this is the old body style. Nah, no thank you. Yeah, that new body style is a lot nicer. So they really perfected. This is, as far as I'm concerned, they finally perfected the E-Class. They have finally perfected the E-Class. It's about damn time. E300. They finally perfected this car. I might consider getting one of these. But they're gonna have to make the lease really, really attractive. And there's that S-Class right there. I've seen a couple of those on the road. Yeah, this is probably the greatest luxury, affordable luxury car on the entire American market. Because of the emissions scandal cheating that went on over at Volkswagen, the 300 is going to be the only available E-Class for some time. Because the problem is the EPA is basically under the control of a bunch of environmental liberal fascists at this point. So they are pretty much determined to make it so that all companies selling products are pretty much uncompetitive, simply because they demand that they basically have zero emissions. Like, they can say, oh yeah, well, you have to have low emissions, but basically what you're doing is you're cutting my balls off and you're saying, no, you can't have any emissions at all. So what's going to end up happening is most of these cars are going to have no choice but to move to plug-in hybrid electrical vehicle status. Because if they don't, diesel in and of itself is probably going to be killed, for one, thanks to Volkswagen. And the gasoline cars are going to have such a hard time getting certified that basically it's like it's not even going to be worth the effort. So what's going to ultimately happen is this is my belief, this is my Nostradamus moment. Within 10 years, just about every single one of these cars is going to be a damn plug-in electrical hybrid. And they're going to have front wheels that are electric powered, like the Tesla, and then they're going to have rear wheels that have a gas engine power, like, the BMW i8. Now, they could swap that and they could put the gas engine up front, the electric out back, or they could, have just rear-wheel drive. But the thing about it is the EPA is coming down so hard on these guys until it's just like everything sucks now. All these cars are like they're like clones. Fucking twin turbo V6. That's not what I want. I want a V8. I don't want no diesel. I mean, a diesel can be nice for certain cars, but I don't want that.
We do 7,500, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000.
Okay.
So
What's the average?
12,000 miles a year, you'd be probably somewhere in the high sevens.
Okay. Like 799, 899.
15,000, you'd be somewhere in the eights.
Okay. All right, that's not too bad.
All right, so gigantic 12.3-inch display, same as the S-Class.
Yeah, I was looking at that.
And the amazing thing here, this is standard, is you can now control this screen with your thumb right on the steering wheel. So rather than have to come down here in the central controller or the touchpad, your hand doesn't even come off the wheel.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's
And then this one here gets controlled by the thumb on this side.
I like that. That's hot. That's nice.
You have 5 different driving modes. Dynamic select. That's this right here. Right on the fly, you can change from comfort, sport, sport plus, which is going to give you a really aggressive, higher shift point, higher steering. Completely changes the personality of the car as you're driving it. You can even do individual, like if you like tighter steering or normal shifting, you can customize.
I like that.
So it always defaults to the comfort mode, but you can, just as you drive, you just pop it into whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she liked this stuff.
All kinds of crazy stuff. The parking pilot will literally park itself.
Park itself, right?
You just hit this thing here, and it will make a perfect park every time.
Okay.
You have 64 different colors for ambient lighting. That's just changed on here to whatever you
These
want.
blue strips that are under here, that was blue, you can change the color now.
64 different colors.
64 different. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. I like that.
So what we've had in the past, if you had the ambient lighting package, you could choose one of 3 different colors, and that had been an option. Now standard is choose one of 64 different colors. The car will stop itself to avoid an accident.
So with this guy right here in front of us, if let's say you, for weren't paying attention and you got too close to him and he did a sudden stop, it will stop.
It will light up, it'll beep, but within a split second, if I've not responded, it's going to hit the brakes for me.
Okay.
To either completely avoid the collision or at least reduce the impact.
If you're in heavy traffic, can it drive, stop?
Only with the Premium 3 package. Premium 3 will literally drive the car itself. You have to put your hand on the wheel every 30 seconds.
Okay.
If it doesn't, it'll just chime at you until you do.
Alright.
But that's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's high.
Highway speeds, alright? To change lanes, you hit the turn signal, hands off the wheel, feet off the pedals, it'll go and change the lane perfectly every time.
Alright.
It'll steer around curves. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Yes.
When we went for training on that, that's the thing that we couldn't deliver. You couldn't wrap your head around. You don't even want to be trusting enough to take your hands off the wheel or your feet off the pedals. It's just a strange sensation in the beginning, but then you realize it's actually doing it.
Okay, so that's it. This was an E300, and this was $67,085, and this came with $1,090 panoramic sunroof, $850 sound system Burmester, and $6,800 for the Premium 2 package. Now, the problem is, if you're interested in an E-Class, you're going to have to wait a while for the higher equipment levels. Like if you want the P3 package instead of the P2, you're going to have to wait a good long time. But, I drove this. This is fantastic. I'm glad I was able to have somebody explain all the technology additions. But, the E-Class is this E-Class may be the E-Class to end all E-Classes, because they finally got it right. They did what I always wanted them to do. They made it a smaller S-Class for people who don't need that length. Because I mean, look at that car. That thing is a monster. That thing, you can't park that thing here in Manhattan. If you're in Manhattan, you can't park this. Like the limo companies are lucky because they are able to put these things right out in front of the hotels, but this thing's ridiculous. And the sad thing is, this is the exact kind of car that I'd want to use as a daily driver, but it's totally inefficient, especially when you have to try to park it in a lot and they don't even have space, and then they're going to charge you double over fee because of the size of the vehicle. So you know what? That as much as I love the S-Class, they have finally invented an option. That's an E-Class, that's an E-Class. They finally invented an option for people who, even if you have the money or not, they finally invented an option for people who just don't need that much size.